welcome back to another episode of Real Talk with Adore and Daisy. I'm Adore.
I'm Daisy. Hey.
I feel like we need to introduce ourselves now because they be like, who's Adore and who's Daisy?
Girl, don't nobody say that.
I seen that in the comments. So I'm just responding to the comment. I'm Adore. If you new here, welcome to Real Talk with Adore and Daisy.
Okay, I'm Daisy. I'm going to introduce myself.
In the month of May, it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we want to say Happy Mental Health Awareness Month. Mm-hmm. Ironically, we got a mental health advocate, but on this show, every episode, we do check in on everybody's mental health.
Of course.
So we wanted to tap in with you and see how your mental health is.
Okay, at this moment, I'm nervous. But I'm definitely in a good space. I'm in a good place right now. When I say that, I mean in this aspect of just like knowing how I'm feeling right now, and I'm feeling good, feeling grateful that you guys, decided to have me on your show. I definitely am a fan, so yeah, I'm excited.
Thank you.
So you can tell the people your name,
Okay. So my name is Tia Russell. I'm the CEO of Take My Hand, and Take My Hand is a nonprofit organization. And our mission is to unite and inspire individuals to improve the quality of life by supporting, assisting, and motivating low-income and at-risk youth and adults. And so we create events and we have programs to help them thrive that's connected with transportation, community engagement, and mental health.
Love to see it. Thank you. Let me rewind. Daisy, how's your mental health?
my mental health is good. It's getting better. I was finally going through a serious breakup, so I don't know. I just feel good though.
Are you really okay though? Or are you just saying?
Yeah. If I was mad or sad about it, it's been a few days. It only take me 2 business days to get off.
That's what I'm saying. My girl is a thug. That is a thug.
I'm just saying so.
When I go through breakups, I be needing my time, my space to get my mental back together. Sometimes I need 90 to 360 days. I'm not lying.
But see, the thing is with me, I think I be mentally gone already before it's physically. So it just be I probably done had my mental days where it wasn't good, and I was thinking dang, this really not about to be that no more. And then when it's really not that no more, I damn near don't even care at that point. Mm-hmm. So
Back in the day, I used to just talk to a whole bunch of guys. I just for a whole week.
to get over it.
Yeah, just to get over it. I just have not even go out, just have conversation. Just have conversation. Just talk to a whole bunch of people to get my mindset. Be okay, look, out of sight, out of mind. Mm-hmm. That's what I always do.
Yeah, that's cool too. And then it just be now we to the age that you don't even want to be too busy because I don't know, that's not really good for your mental health either. Sometimes you just gotta.
That's what I said back in the day. Yeah, that's what I'm back in the day. The younger me, I was
older me needs time to get my mental health back together because in relationships and situationships, dealing with someone, you could potentially lose yourself.
Okay.
So I be needing that time to get to relearn myself because you're not the same person as you once was in that relationship. So that's why I be needing my days.
I agree.
But my mental health is great. It's excellent. Somebody wrote me on my way here and asked me how is my mental health because in one episode, 6 episodes ago, or maybe 5 episodes ago, I talked about being in maniac mode. I could not sleep. I used to be up for 72 hours at a time. I would work my day job was my night job. And then during the day I was working on, we were working on Real Talk. And most of the time, my team is up during the day. So now I have to stay up during the day to deal with them or get things handled. And a couple of months ago for us, stuff just started expanding super, super fast. DMs going crazy, emails going crazy. It became so overwhelming. And Daisy and I are still the ones running Real Talk. On top of showing up, on top of getting a guest, it's a lot. So it became a lot on my mental health to where it was just okay, I can't sleep because I'm thinking about what's next.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you're in a good space.
So now I'm in a good space. I learned how to balance my work life and my personal life. It took me a couple of months to get it, but I don't know if I was it's new to me. It's new to me. But before we tap into this topic, I wanted to bring in something that I seen you write on Instagram.
Receipts, girl.
Oh, Lord.
we only a few days in with May, and you introduced May with, I made this video for those who may be struggling in private and don't know and don't feel that people can relate. Listen, we all go through something, even those you think like life is perfect. I know what it's like to have support around and still feel lonely. It's celebrities who go through the same thing. If you ask anybody, I'm asking you, how are you practicing self-care? Because stress kills. It is a silent killer. It's time we stop the stigma and talk about it. Let's talk. And you also let them know that if they had any questions or if they wanted to talk, that they could message you or reach out to you. I wanted to bring that in because I feel like that's so important, because people go through things and they're afraid to talk about it because they may be embarrassed of their situation. They may feel like they're the only person going through it. Or they just don't have the right people to talk to. So that you created a safe space for people to talk to you. So like I wanted to open that up and let's get into this topic. I'm so excited.
Okay. That's really dope though that you even like, cause what made you get into the whole, first of all, Take My Hand is a nonprofit.
Right.
So like where did that come from? Like what made you start that?
So honestly, it was just on some like, oh, I want to just give back to the community. I was already giving back to the community, just me as alone. I used to be like asking my friends like, did they want to come? I actually started in 2012 with two of my friends, Lauren and Dynasty. And we were just really just trying to help the homeless. Like, it wasn't even no real purpose in it. We were just young. I'm like, okay, I want to get back to the community. We're going to, help the homeless. But then, life be life. And we kind of like forgot about it. I was living my life. Then 2019, I'm just like, you know what? Like, I just feel like this is just a part of my purpose. I was just more in tune with like, what I want to do, what I want to be in life. And I just brought it back, and then I just been really consistent ever since then, like trying to make sure I have an event every month. At first I was kind of like just trying to help everybody, hence like Take My Hand, but then I kind of decided to just shift gears with the low income families because I kind of, not saying homeless people don't help themselves, right? But being in the mental health world and just seeing a different side of like a little bit of everything. I want to help people who want to be helped. Like I want people, like them people who have a job and just they don't have the extra funds to do A, B, and C. Like that's where we come in. Yeah. So that's like my goal with, the audience and the type of community that I try to help.
I like that.
Me too, a lot.
And you had, we spoke back in November, was that Suicide Awareness Month? Yeah. And you wanted to do something then. It's like everything is mental though. Like it's not just Take My Hand.
I swear.
So it's like what inspires you or keeps you into that field, like especially being a mental health advocate?
Right. So actually, I was working at an outpatient, and this is just on just the call center. Don't know what mental health is. Like, don't know nothing about it. Just working at the call center, being a data entry, doing my little work. But honestly, it wasn't until I don't even know what year it was, but I was smoking weed and I had this bad reaction and freaking out, like thinking I'm about to die. And I'm like, oh my God, what, like,
hallucinating?
Not hallucinating. Just, you know what? I might have been hallucinating because literally my body was just like, it felt like I was just doing all this. Like, I don't know what was going on, but I was freaking out. Remind you, like, I'm smoking with my boyfriend. His because they straight. I'm like, what's going on?
What's going on?
I ended up going to the hospital. Of course, they brought me down. My blood pressure was super high, whatever. And ever since then, I haven't been the same. Like, and it was on a bad note, meaning like I started having panic attacks, bad, like every other night, not knowing like what I'm going through, like waking up, panicking, thinking I'm about to die, like running in the bathroom, like drinking water. Cause when you think you're about to die, you're trying to do all types of stuff to like reassure that you're not dying right now. So I would, and people be asleep, don't know what I'm going through. But yeah, I started having panic attacks, and that's when I started kind of researching, like, okay, what's going on? Like, and, came across anxiety and then I still didn't know, still trying to like live my life, but still having like, at this point, I would say I had a little bit of PTSD because I didn't want to be around people who smoke, because when the smoke hit my face, I'm thinking about what happened. So I don't want to be by them who want to smoke or nothing like that. So that's really what started it. And then as I started to progress in my work, I ended up becoming like a certified peer support, and it was just based off my anxiety. And so pretty much you're just helping the consumers who may be experiencing anxiety and telling them basically like, you're not alone. Like I've experienced it too. And that's the point. Like we're like kind of like a recovery coach, but like not substance abuse, because I'm not in that area, but just more so like what I've been through. So and that's how it started. So me working at the outpatient, and then just noticing what really going on. Like, oh wow, like mental health is like a whole nother world. Like people who just waking up and not knowing what this is, like, I need to tell people about this, because this is just serious.
I like that a lot. I was trying to be receptive of what you were saying. At the same time, like, I reverted back to myself. We started this podcast a little over 2 years ago, and I was depressed, I want to say, like a couple of months after we started the podcast. And I was just showing up. Like, I don't know how I was doing it. I was just still showing up, like still, like help was still showing up, right? And I started this thing like asking about how's your mental health, because I was in a place where nobody would ask me how I was mentally doing. Like people asked, but not like it wasn't a common thing. So I put myself in my own shoes. Like, how would you react if somebody asked you, were you okay? Like, or how's your mental health? And that's when I began to realize I couldn't process my personal life, my business life. Like, I just let everything take a toll on me. And at the time, like, I was just dealing with like a bad situation. Like, I was like drowning in depression. Like, I was drowning in my own misery at the time. And I just thought of things where I wanted somebody to help me. So then I just, we came up with this thing where we wanted to help other people. So like we started this slogan. Right now it's the slogan, you're not alone. And we had like 2 events or whatever. And we like had different guests come and speak and talk about in situations of name a time you felt alone, and how could you help somebody that's in your shoes right now. And when we held that event, I don't even know if you knew, like,
she was crying.
I was depressed. I was crying the second time, but like I was super depressed. Like, and it was just like, how can I show up for these people and I'm depressed, and I'm telling them a time where I'm alone, but I'm still feeling like I'm alone. So mental health is real. That's when I realized, okay, like, I got to do something about this. Like, I got to take the time out to like heal, get my thoughts together, like actually hold myself accountable, like what's wrong, like basically have a real talk with myself. Like, okay, you're going through something. It's normal for you to go through something, but it's also normal to not be okay. And I commend myself, because it's like, being in a position I was in the way I felt, like I wasn't myself. I didn't look like myself. Like my weight was down. My hair started falling out. Like I could not think straight. To look back, like I really be crying or just praising God, because it just be like, dang, I was in that position literally a year ago. And I just be like, dang, I really pulled myself through. But that brings me to my next question. Like, mental health is something like that happens, sporadically. So it's like when you feel like you may be going through something, it could be like personal, like a relationship, or just anything. Like, how do you maintain your solitude, or just to still show up for people even when you can't show up for yourself?
Okay. So for the most part, I have to address my feelings before I even take a move on anything that I'm trying to do, because for one, even though I'm like a mental health advocate, I'm human. Like, I'm not this person that has to be like, oh yeah, like, no, I'm human. And so I do overthink. I still got anxiety, not as worse and severe as it was in the beginning, but I still overthink. I still have anxiety. I still have racing thoughts. I'm thinking about A, B, C. What should I do tomorrow? What should I do? Oh my God, my kids. Like, I'm doing still the same thing. But helping people is like really, it's really therapeutic for me. Like, me helping people it just feels too good. Like, so that me showing up is just more so like therapeutic. Like, I just love helping people. So that's just something that just really keeps me going. Like, that's how I know, like, Take My Hand is just my purpose, because of how it makes me feel. And so for the most part, they my motivation. Like, my community is my motivation, in the aspect of me helping them, just me helping them. That's all I really, just me seeing their faces when I'm giving them the resources. Even when I'm with the patients, like when I used to work, I used to actually work at an inpatient. I was outpatient, but I also worked inpatient. So I was actually in a psychiatric hospital. I was an assistant to a psychiatrist. And so I was like one-on-one with them, meaning like, sometimes when the psychiatrist can't talk, I'm talking to them. They tell them their problems. I have to write about them every day. So every day I'm writing about them, about circumstances. I'm like, dang, like they going through regular stuff we going through, but they mental is not strong enough because they got to go to the hospital for. I'm dealing with the same stuff you go. I'm like, dang, do I need help? Like that's what I used to be like, what? Like, do I need help or whatever? But just seeing that just makes me thankful. Just having it, like every day I'm thanking God, like I'm like that my mental is as strong. Like I break down, but I can really wake up, have a roof sound, and be like, okay, they need to see that, like, okay, if I talk about it, then they can say I can talk about it too. Like that's my goal, is to always let them know, like somebody you don't know want to help them. So
that's a fact. It's always a stranger that's coming to help or being your motivation, like that the motivation you didn't even know you needed.
Exactly.
And I feel like our community as a whole, we don't touch on mental health, but that's because I feel like we so used to showing up and being strong ourselves, like nobody really acknowledges how much strength it really takes to be mentally strong, because like sometimes we forced to do it. Like, I mean, you can go the other way, but like who really want to go the bad route? Like when you know you got to pick yourself up, especially when you got kids and you got the people you want to show up for, you gotta.
And that's where I started, putting like a lot of boundaries in what I do, right? Like if I feel like I really can't do it, I just got to tell you, like I can't do it. Of course I got anxiety, like, dang, I didn't tell my best friend I can't come to her party. I'm mad. However, I feel good at the end because just like, for one, I was honest about it. And then for two, like that's helping me with my mental health. I'm trying to show up for something that I know I don't even have the ability to really show up for. So just keeping that boundaries with knowing like, okay, I know I can do this, I know I can do that, but I can't really do that. Like, I see people go out and have fun and all that, and I be wanting to go. Like, I be like, man, I want to go. But then overall, it's just like, how does it really benefit me? Like, do I really want to go? Or do I want to get there and be like, okay, I want to go home. I should have stayed with my kids. So, just making sure, like, when you showing up, I make sure I show up to the important things. The kids' birthday parties, their birthday parties, like things like that. Like that's the stuff that I'm showing up for, because they're the most important things that really matter. But all the extra stuff is like, I show, if you really need me, you want to talk, you can FaceTime, and I'm always like, I always randomly like give my friends like a long paragraph of just letting them know like, hey, like I know you're going through A by Z and all that, like, but you got this, and they always be happy when I do that. So yeah.
I used to work on the psych unit, and it was tough because you got to be mentally strong, because they're not. They have mental issues. Some of them acknowledge their mental issues, and then some people, they either don't realize it or they don't want to face the fact. Either way it go, you have to still show up and be the light for them. Like, and that kind of was tough. Every day was different because you would see different things, different people. You would meet different people. And the thing about it was they were normal people just like us.
Exactly.
It's doctors that go check themselves in. It's mothers. It's fathers. It's brothers. It's normal people. Rich, poor people. Like, it don't matter who you are. Like, people will admit themselves, or they will get, admitted and don't have no way around it. But it was tough. It was tough because sometimes people will let it go so far to where, the police would take them, or, things like that. But that's when I started to realize, okay, mental health is like a real thing. Like, I didn't realize until I got grown, probably about 3 years ago.
Facts.
Yeah, and this, like, I just hate that our community just make this big stigma about it. Like, we just so strong, we just so superhuman that we just don't go through nothing. And it just really saddens me that we can't be vulnerable, because we've been so strong for all these years, just taking it back from a long time ago, all the stuff that we did.
Sure.
Yeah, so, it really, it's hurtful to see like people can't talk about it, which is why I be asking people that I don't even know, like, How you feeling today? Like, I have to ask them that because you just never know. Like, when people say, hey, good morning, like, I always say good morning. Like, they say, how are you? I say, how are you? I'm waiting for your answer because a lot of people I don't know if anybody knows, like, when I say, how are you? They say good, and I say you, and they don't respond back. Like, no, this is a real question. Yeah, like, I'm trying to ask you, like, how you, and a lot of people don't do that. So I make sure
That's crazy.
yeah, like you literally be like, hey, how are you? Be like, good, and you? And you don't ever hear nothing back from me. I be like, good, and you? Like, I want to know how you feeling. Like, but people it's just so common. Like, they just don't want to talk about it. But you know what? I want to talk about it, and I want to make sure that I'm letting people know, like I said, and that's why, I made the program Therapy is Lit. It's a program that's, providing our community with resources and also trying to connect them with a therapist if they're interested, to let them know that somebody they don't know want to hear you. They want to talk to you. Sometimes your family member is not always it. I personally love my therapist. Like, I tell her everything, and to know that she's not going to never say nothing, of course, unless it's harmful to me or somebody else. Like, it feels good to let her know, like, how I'm feeling. I look forward to all our conversations every time we have a session. So, and that's the program, my program. I just want them to know, like, it's okay to just talk. Just talk it out.
It's so crazy that you brought up a therapist, because that was like one of my next questions. I was going to ask you, what's your take on therapy?
Oh, I love it.
How long you been in therapy?
I want to say since 2016.
Oh,
yeah. I was going to ask you if you went to therapy before starting your nonprofit.
Nope, because I started, originally I started my nonprofit just on some, like, I wanted to help the homeless, and then, just helping the homeless, but I took therapy after, I did therapy, and then I Take My Hand Back.
What made you go to therapy?
So actually, I just really thought that it would probably be more beneficial. Like, I also took medication. So I took medication for like a whole year for my anxiety, because it was just getting bad to the point, like, the boyfriend I was with at the time, he kind of thought that I was like tweaking or whatever. And I'm like, I don't think nothing wrong with me. Like, I'm straight. But he thought it was, he thought I should, probably see a doctor or something like that. So I decided to take medication for a whole year. And the experience was actually good.
Okay.
Yeah, I was still partying, I was still drinking, that was my first thing, like, wait a minute, if I take this medication, can I drink? That was the first thing I asked my therapist, like, can I drink? I mean, not my therapist, my PCP. And he was like, yeah. I'm like, all right. I'm like, okay. So yeah, I took the medication and it was going good, but then I had to stop when I got pregnant. And then I tried to go back to it because I thought it was going pretty good, but it didn't work. And I don't know if the hormones kind of messed it up. Yeah, so it didn't work. And at that point, I was just like, I didn't want to up my medication, because at that point I felt like I could have been dependent on it. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I just honestly got more in tune with God and just, praying and asking him really, because it got to a point, honestly, it got bad. Like, I was scared to go to sleep. Like, I was scared to go to sleep because I thought I was going to die. Like, on some just anxiety, like just overthinking, like, I don't want to go to sleep. Like, I might not wake up tomorrow. I don't even know why. Like, I don't, and that's the thing, like, with mental health, and I understand why people don't want to talk about it, because it's just like, you don't know why you're feeling this way. Like,
you can't even explain sometimes.
I'm telling you, I don't even know why I got anxiety. And still to this day, like, I don't know, like, what was I stressing? I don't know, like, what pinpointed this anxiety. This could have been something God just wanted me to do, because I was living my best life. He wasn't really in the picture for real. So, I know he sometimes bring in situations for us to come to him. So this could have been definitely a path to where he's like, okay, like, let me try to shoot you. Like, I went to church, but I also was partying and drinking and promoting, and like, I was doing all that while I still going to church. People was like calling me hypocrites and all that, and I'm just like, whatever. Like, I still go to church, and I still go to the club. Like, I don't care. So yeah, I definitely think this was like a leeway to, like, God was just like, okay, like, you about to just come back to me, because it's just time. So, just come on back. And I was just like, okay. So it definitely was a benefit. So I'm super thankful, just, being aware. Like, the goodness of it is just being aware. Like, so.
That was going to be my next question. How was your relationship with God? Because my anxiety used to be bad at a point in time, but I don't speak anxiety over me. Like, I rebuke it in the name of Jesus. Like, I literally pray myself out of stuff now. Like, my relationship with God is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And then it was just like, I do go to therapy. I was active in therapy. And, I felt like that was one of the first things that they was like, oh, this can help you. This can help you sleep at night. But it was just like the things that God can do and the things He's done for me. He moved mountains for me. He pushed people out of my life. He forced people out of my life. He literally would make me go through a storm and then show me the sun can shine again. So it was just like I started to get relationship like closer to God. Like even when I was depressed last year, I joined a prayer group and just going there and hearing other people's stories and just like women who pray together. Like we pray, you pray that off of yourself. So I never got to the point where I had to take medication, but it was offered to me, and I'm just like no, because I'm not really big on taking medication. Just because I've always worked in the hospital and I see what medication can do to people. And then I've also had an uncle who passed away last year who was hooked on drugs. So like medication like kind of scared me because of that. But that was going to be my next question. But you definitely answered that. And either way it goes, I still feel like it's helpful.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. That's the thing, like it's therapy, it's medication. God is always the pinpoint of everything. So like it's just God up here, right? And then it's just like the professions that He has. Like He didn't make doctors and professions just for us to, exactly. So I look at it like that, like God is number one, and then He have these platforms for you to able to get the help that you need. You might not want medication, but you might need the therapist. You know, so you might not want the therapist. You might want to do your own little self-care thing. Like it's all different ways, you know, to actually address it. So I definitely just make sure I let people know, like I did the medication, I did the therapy, I do the self-care. I actually prayed it off. Like after just realizing I didn't need the medication or wanted it, I was like, okay, literally, I kid you not, I prayed and was just like, God, can you please just wipe this out? And I'm telling you, like I have not had no panic attacks. Like I don't even remember when the last time I had one. It happens every now and then, but not like how it used to be, like nonstop going. So yeah, like
if you find yourself in that situation, I bet you would start praying, which I'm sure that you probably good at because your relationship is stronger. It definitely changes things. Like,
yeah, and I'm just super thankful. And then also like my brother, he actually passed away. He has schizophrenia, and at that moment, I didn't know he was schizophrenia. He was that person in the family, and you'd be like, oh, that's just him. Like, I used to see him. He was, you know, talking to himself and things like that, and I didn't know what that was. I just thought that was my brother, and that's what he did until... And I, in the midst of this, I was working at the mental place, but I was just in the call center. I wasn't really aware of it, so I used to always think about it and be like, dang, like I wonder if I knew all that stuff then I could have helped him. Like I didn't know he was hearing voices. I didn't know he was taking medication. And with the medication, he was self-medicating. He was drinking. And so that's when, you know, to his body. And then when it went there, you know, it resulted to what it did. So that's definitely like, that's a real push on why I am a big mental health advocate because of my brother.
In that moment when you found out, which was at that point in time, too late, unfortunately, what did you do differently or how did you process it knowing that he had a mental health issue and you didn't know about it?
So I definitely observe people a little bit more. Literally, like I seriously, like I definitely observe people a little bit more. Like at this point, I've been in the mental health field so long, like I kind of know like what you're going through in a way, but not really. Like I can't say just like, oh, you got depression, but I definitely like if somebody talking to themselves, I know you're talking to yourself. I know, like, I can just tell by your facial expressions. I can tell if you in a manic episode and things like that. Like, I'm very, very in tune with it. And I'm not even, like, a real profession. I've just been in it so long, like, I can just identify. And then me working as an assistant for a psychiatrist and just seeing that every day. Like, I'm talking to different people I'm writing about them every single day. Why don't I know this? I know the medication. Like, it's, like, I know it. So, and that's why I'm okay with just expressing it. Like, you know, everybody got their own little way of how they, you know, want to open up about mental health, but I'm in a period of time where I'm just like, okay, I just want to let people know, like, you're not alone. Like you said, like, you and what y'all do, like, I want to let them know you're not alone. Somebody else is going through the same thing, and that's why, you know, I created the Sow Your Seed, breaking the silence of depression and anxiety, because, you know, it started off with a seed, and you initially will blossom into like a flower, right? But how long are you gonna be that seed? How long is it gonna take for you to actually grow? And so sometimes you just need somebody else to say, I went through the same thing. And that's that push right there. That's that little water that you need. That push is just like, okay, you know, she did it, I know I can do it.
So talk about Sow Your Seed. You got an event coming up.
Yeah, so it's called Sow Your Seed, Breaking the Silence of Depression and Anxiety. This is our 3rd annual, and it's just really just educating the community about the importance of mental health. And so with me, I like to be informative and entertaining. So I have like a dance performance, music, poetry. I have people who actually have life experience with depression and anxiety. So for example, I have somebody that's going to talk about how they tried to commit suicide. I got a grieving mom, somebody who postpartum, somebody who went through domestic violence, addiction. Like I want examples. Like you can't just come in there and just be like, and don't get me wrong, I offer like just therapists coming in and telling, but how are you really, you're telling them,
somebody being
like I need to hear somebody say like, oh, I went through the same thing, but I look at him right now. Like one of my friends is talking and her story is just like, how do you even do it?
Yeah,
I really can do it, and it's just very inspiring. Like, and I'm looking forward to hearing everybody's story because I don't really know like deep in, like, so I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, we also do actually have a therapist that's actually talking as well, because of course we got to have somebody professional there. And then, we're going to have like people to sign up for the therapist list. So just in case of people who want a therapist, they can definitely sign up. And then I'm gonna have, of course, stress relievers, meditation, free massages. So
this is gonna be a lit event.
Yeah, so I'm super excited this year because it's a little bit of everything. And then I also have the city council president, Mary Sheffield. She's going to say a motivational message. So so I'm excited. I'm really excited about this year because I really want a lot of people to just come in and just relate. And that's exactly why I also said, like, if you can't afford the ticket, just let me know, because I don't mind you. It's not about the money. Of course, the money that they're paying for is just really to help us pay for therapy sessions for the people who can't afford it. But if you really can't afford it and you just want to come, like, just come.
Yeah.
So
where can they buy the tickets, and what day is it and what time?
So it's May 21st from 12 to 4, and it's at Opulent Event Center. It's in Warren, and you can get your tickets on Eventbrite. It's called Sow Your Seed 2023.eventbrite.com.
I love
That's
to
lit.
hear. That's gonna be a really dope event.
Yeah, because like the panels and all that. Don't get me wrong, I love panels, but like you just sitting down and asking questions, like
Tell me
and
that story.
I will go like serious. This no shade for real, but I want to hear somebody tell me something. Like let me I want to hear something. I can be like, okay, when I'm at home, I can remember that story. Not you asking the question. It's just like.
Yeah, and then when somebody's telling their story, it's gonna be a few people in the crowd like, okay, I'm not crazy. This person went through the same thing as me, and look at her now. Like, I can pull myself out. Like, I went to prayer circle the other day, and the girls who run it, she was praying, and she was saying that sometimes God take you through things to use you as a vessel for others. So
Is there any distance?
yes,
Yeah.
You ever been?
No, but I know her and I wanted to come, but I have to work. But I love her and I love that the platform that she has, and I definitely want to come to one on a Thursday that I don't work.
You definitely got to come. But she basically was saying, like, sometimes God put us in those places and put us around those people and put us through things just so we can be used as a vessel to help somebody else, because that other person may not be as strong as you to pull themselves out.
Exactly.
So she definitely came with a word. I've been going to prayer circle for a year. I definitely recommend, like, if you don't know where to start with your relationship with God, or if you just want to be around mutual women your age that's struggling or that's going through things, that's got postpartum depression, going through domestic violence, going through a breakup, or just life is lifing, because life is lifing for a lot of us.
That's the thing. Life just always lifing, and that's why you just need that little bit of motivation. Like, that's why like them affirmations and things like that definitely work in some sense. But don't get me wrong, I want to say this. Of course, like, okay, I'm mentally okay, right? But I always pinpoint to the people who, like, if you started off with the trauma when you were in your childhood, it's kind of really hard to really.
Girl, you reading my card?
Oh no, I swear.
Okay.
Yeah, no. When you start off with the trauma, it's really kind of hard to just be like, oh, it's gonna be different for me. Like, it really takes
you gotta
a
go
lot,
back.
literally like back, and really like address, which is why I encourage the therapist. I'm telling you, like, the way I act now, it definitely leads to like how I was, how my childhood was, like me in my self-worth. Like, I really didn't think I had any self-worth, to the point, like, I used to talk to a lot of guys and, you know, didn't care, like, how I was handling myself and things like that. But just knowing that your childhood just really affects, like, who you are today. And then, like, me, even, like, I had a stepdad who was definitely in my life, but just feeling a little bit abandoned from my real father, who's still alive and in a whole nother state and things like that. And not saying I don't know what his intentions is. I'm not sure if he he wants to or not. And I just feel like he didn't try enough or whatever. So, and my stepdad definitely was there for me, but it started from there. Like, I'm your only daughter. Like, why don't you reach out to me? Like, am I not good enough?
Don't get me started on that.
What I text you this morning?
She texted me a scripture about daddy issues. Like, we both have them. But the question was that I had, you just answered it though. It was like, if you don't heal from your childhood trauma, will it affect your long-term mental?
I definitely think it will affect your long-term mental. 100% fact. Like, you cannot tell me that you cannot be raised a certain way and then you just got this light and just like, okay, like, and it don't matter about the money, you're gonna feel that void. Like, it's always there. It always will be there. And even it's like a void with God, and it's the void that you're not addressing. So I definitely feel that if you don't address it, it's gonna, affect your relationships. Like, even when you treat your kids the way you treat it, like the frustration, you trying to figure out why. That's why I definitely, in the midst of me doing this and being a mental health advocate, I'm still like trying to address like the certain things with, therapy. I learn something new about me every day. Every time I have a session with her, I learn something new about me. So, and that's why I try to encourage therapists, everybody. And that's another thing. Every therapy session ain't gonna be good for you. You might not even want to address it, and you might get mad at her, but go and talk to her again. Like, this is it's important. Like, I'm trying to tell you, like, it's very, very important. If you don't talk to your therapist, talk to somebody else that you trust in. Like, you just have to talk about it. You cannot hold this in.
It definitely reflects how you act as a person, how you act as an adult. Relationships, it make your relationships harder. Like, when you bring on burdens and problems that this person you're in a relationship didn't even bring. You're not even giving it a fair chance. So it's just like, it takes a different type of strong individual to acknowledge the fact that they have issues. And people feel like, oh, I'm crazy. No, that doesn't make you crazy. We all have problems. We all have things that we need to grow from, heal from, or just become a better person overall. And become a better you have to acknowledge things of your past. So,
and understanding also that it's okay to have a win. Like, the worst is when you're having a win and then you're questioning the win. I do it and I have done it. I literally, everything be going smooth and I be like, something about to go wrong. And I don't know why I think that way, but it just be like something good to be, too good to be true. And I think, like, just, self-doubting yourself, self-doubting your situation, like, we have to stop that. Like, we really have to stop, like, the whole, this shouldn't be made for me. Like, no, you deserve it. Like, you definitely deserve it. So I definitely think that play a part of it too.
Yes. Healing from your childhood trauma, it definitely takes some acknowledging, like, what you even went through to figure out why you act and react the way you do. So.
Yeah, and I meant to say at the event, we're actually at the end. I'm hoping we have enough time, because sometimes we might be too in tune that we, might go over, but we actually having a healing circle for the audience. Okay. So, like, the people who want to, that's in the audience, would like to talk or, might want to say something, then they give them a time. Like, I don't want them really come in there and not really receive, like, you can get all this information, but do you got anything to say? What do you like to express? So that's one of my goals. It's a part of the program. So I'm looking forward to that too, just hearing them.
That's really good.
That's exciting. Because people will start to open up once they be like, okay, it's not just me.
It's not just me.
It only takes for somebody else to open up first, and then that will make other people comfortable. Like, okay, this is a safe space. Okay, I'm not the only person going through this. And that's why, like, I joined Prayer Circle, because it's nothing but women who goes through, like, the same thing. It might not be to your extent, or it might not be the same identical thing, but I could talk to you, you could talk to me, and we could pray together.
Yes, sir. It's no better feeling than a safe space. I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah,
like,
that's all it takes.
Like right now at this moment, I feel like I'm in a safe space.
Yes.
Like I was all nervous. Like, okay, I'm feeling good.
No, it's good that you can find somebody that you can talk to, and like you don't even know how many people about to be reaching out. They love when we get deep and talk about healing and mental health and just relationships, friendships, and family trauma, all that. Like, because it's not in our community, it's not an average conversation, and it honestly it should be like. Cause we be messed up for real. We be messed up, and we just, it's like, I don't know what it is about us that we just feel like we have to be so strong that we feel like we can't be vulnerable and talk about our problems. I don't know what it is, but it's a lot of us like that. So
Yes, it is.
No, I break down.
I'm gonna break down, but I'm gonna break down on the solo side. Like I said, like by myself in the corner, like I'm gonna break down by myself.
And then there's people also that make you feel like you can't break down, right? So like I never forget, like sometimes I feel like in the beginning I used to be like, yeah, you know, I ain't feeling too good. Like I'm a little anxiety. Oh, you good? Like, no, I'm not.
I just said,
like I'm not good. Like I'm not good at all. Like what do you mean? Like I'm not good. Like you gonna be all right. Like yes, I know I'm gonna be all right, but that's
what I
in
wanna
this
hear.
moment.
exactly
In this
like
moment.
like don't do that. So that's why I'm saying like I be mindful of who I talk to now. You know what I'm saying? Like every family member is in it for me. Like
I know my friends started looking at me like, cause I don't be knowing what to say. I just be like, cause I'm definitely gonna tell you it's gonna be alright. But no, I do listen. I listen sometimes if it's something.
like when somebody died, right? I kind of just don't.
I don't use the words, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah,
like
that's,
I don't.
you can't
I don't do that. I just kind of just be like, if you need me, I'm here. And that's it. And then I'll just say it again, like, if you need me, I'm here. Like, you know,
if you want to do something, let me know.
Exactly, but I'm not gonna say like, oh, he's in a good place or no, bro.
Cause you really want to hear that.
Yeah, like I'm not about to hear
You
that.
don't hear that enough at the funeral.
I used to say that though, but now I'm I'm just really mindful of everything like to where it can affect your mental health to where like, and even now, like I'm still working on it. Like I'm still working on it, even like with relationships and things like that, and just like. I might say something like, you can't be mad at this. And they be like, how you going to tell me I can't be mad at it? And I be thinking about it too. Like, I be like, you're right.
Because you can't invalidate somebody.
Exactly. And so I am working in on that. And I'm like, and just being, you know, honest and taking accountability about things. This is like a process every single day. And I've definitely got faults that I keep on trying to work on and still jabbing about little stuff. But I know that I do it. So, you know, it's not really intentional. But if I'm too calm, then it's a problem. Like, right? Like, you don't be doing it, you be like, oh, so you don't care? Like, no, I do care. But
I'm trying to be mindful.
Exactly. I'm just
response here.
Exactly. And just reading the Bible, just saying like when y'all going through like some type of dispute and things like that, it's like just making sure that other person feel heard. So that's my goal always, to like make sure if I am having a dispute with you and things like that you're letting me know everything that you want to say. So then I kind of say what I want to say. Or if I don't even want to talk about it, you're like, you know what? I don't really want to talk about it right now because I feel like we might lash out and we can just talk about it a little bit at 24 hours. Maybe I could think about it because if you don't think about it at that time, you might say a lot of stuff you don't mean. And I kind of don't want to do that because I still want you in my life.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think of it like that now too.
I feel like I'm still learning that some of the things, the way you respond or the way someone might respond to you, like when you was just like, what did you say? That you agreed to her with that I say, how can you tell me how I feel?
Yeah.
I dealt with a narcissist in the past. I didn't know I was dealing with a narcissist. I didn't know I was dealing with a narcissist until like towards the end when I actually when I had the strength to pull myself back up. And he used to tell me things. I tell him like, you know, when you was yelling at me, like you really didn't have to yell at me. Like it was, you know, you could have expressed how you felt in a better manner. Like when you yell at me, I don't like that. It hurts my feelings. You know what I mean? He used to be sorry that I made you feel that way, or you did that to yourself. Like he was never like, he never took my feelings into consideration. So that's like a red flag, and that triggers me. Like, but I'm still also healing from past trauma. Like it's no expiration date on healing. It could take you 10 years to heal from something. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I'm learning, even with me being in the healing stage, that I want to be more selective of my words, because that's the last thing you want to do is make somebody feel invalid, because that really like will determine the whole conversation. Now you making me feel invalid. Now I'm mad. Now, now it's going way further than what it had to go. Mm-hmm. But I'm still a work in progress. But I've learned that in therapy, like, you do have to watch your words, because a lot of things you can't come back from, and that just caused more trauma to somebody else.
Yeah, and then realizing, like, if not, like, at this moment now, like, I'm single or, whatever. And, and now, like, when I do talk to somebody new and I give them a chance, I'll be like, how was your childhood? I kind of ask them at this now, I just be like, how was your childhood? Because I've been with people whose childhood was messed up. Yeah. And I'm like, back in the day, I used to be that person to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna hold it down, chick and all that. Like, I don't want to be like that no more. Like, I really want, like, a man of God. Like, I want to be able to argue with you, and then we say what we gotta say, and then we can talk back. I don't want to be not talking to you all day because we didn't have this dispute. Like, no, I want to
narcissistic tactics.
And like I don't want to go through that. Or like, if we do some toxic stuff, and then you be like, oh, so and so do it all the time. I'm like, okay, like, yeah, like, I don't want to do that. Oh, so and so did worse than that. Like, no, like, that's not what I want. Like, I want a gentle love, companionship. Like,
it's available.
Yes, like,
it's available.
Yeah, so
they're around.
Yeah, and
I'm here to tell you, they're around.
Thank you, Jesus. Amen.
They're definitely around. You just have to, like, be patient with yourself, like, but also do not ignore red flags.
Exactly.
Say that again. Do not ignore red flags.
No, like, listen, okay, because
don't ignore them, y'all.
I'm telling you,
I ignored them. No. I did.
Yeah, I definitely have ignored them in my past relationships.
But that just
trying to prove a point, like trying to prove a point, like, or like if they like, if I, I never really been with nobody who really had like money, but then like I finally found somebody who like, I'm like, okay, yeah, and then it was just like,
you know what's crazy?
You can't feel this void.
I wanted to bring up, we went to a mental health gym, me and her together, and the guy who owns Inception, his name is David. I said, I don't know what God trying to tell me, but in my past, I've been sent broken men. Who am I, a healer? I'm still healing myself. Like, who am I, a healer? And I actually brought this up to my therapist. I actually prayed about it. I'm actually reading a prayer book. Like, it gives me prayers every day, and I read them in the morning. And I'm learning that once you get like healed or get to a certain level of healed, like, you attract different type of people. Once you get to a certain level of healing, you start to attract more healed people. Because I was thinking like, okay, God, what you trying to tell me? What are you trying to tell me?
Preach, preach.
And I got to a point where it's just like, okay, I'm not the problem. These people are the problem. I've dealt with my issues, or like, I don't bring my own personal problems to like relationships or situationships. So back to like the experience of the mental health gym, the week that we went, I was actually dealing with like my uncle's 1-year death anniversary. And then I was in maniac mode back then. But then I realized, like, after leaving the gym, I slept really well for the first time in weeks.
Oh, wow.
That I will go back.
Yeah, I definitely want to. I'm very. I've been researching his little gym, and I'm like, I really want to go there.
Try it.
And I heard him speak and was very intrigued. So I'm like, oh yeah, I need to go up there.
Yeah,
it was definitely it was a good experience. Like,
she was snoring.
I was like, it's like you get real in tune to yourself. Like, yes, like, and she like, how can you, girl? I told my mind to shut up and just reset. Like, you have to reset.
Sure.
They put these eye covers on, but they like, it's like got the relaxing music, so you're really relaxed. And I got to not feeling my feet and my legs. I'm like, no, something ain't right. Even though that's a part of like the process, because you're relaxed. That's probably the most I've been relaxed in weeks. So I took the eye cover off and I looked over, and I'm trying to call her, but she can't hear me because she's snoring, and we got these headphones on. And I'm just like, okay, let's try this again. But it's definitely something that I would recommend. It's definitely something that I would go back to, because it shows you that you got things going on that you didn't know that you had going on. I didn't know that I wasn't relaxed. Like, even when I was getting my nails done around that time, like, during that period in my life, and she's like, relax your hands, and I'm like, I am relaxed, but like, I'm not the one with my hand in my hand, so I can't feel it. And when a nail person tell you to relax your hands, that's kind of different.
Yeah.
Can you relax your hand?
Yeah.
Relax your hand. No, mine's like this.
I
I know exactly what you mean.
I get what you're saying though, especially when they be doing it. You probably like you giving them the tension back when they hold your finger. I get what you're saying.
The Asian people gonna
Aaron for sure be telling
and they don't care at all. They do not care.
They don't care.
Yeah. Hold your finger.
And then if they gonna tell you one time, if they gotta tell you again, they gonna hold it.
They gonna do it for you. That's hilarious. They definitely will. They don't care.
But I go to somebody very patient. Shout out to Chrissy Cole. Been doing my nails for at least 6 years.
Chrissy
My girl
Cole
squeezed
with
me
the K,
in when I
okay.
need it. Mm-hmm.
It's like 6 a.m. appointments.
Yes.
You there?
Oh, sure.
She
her
don't play.
number.
She from 6 to, you have to book up for months.
Yeah, because
So you gotta know your schedule.
She posted in April that May was booked up. I was just like,
And I had to remember, like, did I book my May appointment? But I sure did.
my mom be booking my sheep mom got to her too.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm trying to try out in June.
Yeah. Gotta try it in June.
But go ahead. I ain't mean to cut you.
Go ahead. I didn't even cut
I
you
had
off.
wanted you to tell the people, like, who's afraid to talk to people, like, a line that they can call for mental health. The phone number, you know about her?
Okay, we gonna let her tell y'all where y'all can find her. So if y'all need to speak to somebody, and you don't have nobody to talk to.
Oh yes. So if you ever had or ever need any mental health resources, you would like to connect to a therapist, a psychiatrist, you can definitely reach us at 248-270-8391. You can also text that number, and you can text therapy is lit hashtag, and so then I'll know what type of service you are seeking. And then our website is www.takemyhandnp.com.
I was thinking like, what's the NP for? But I got it.
Oh yeah, no, probably
Got it.
Somebody else probably had take my hand, so I'm like, okay, I got it.
Gotta ask. Something.
Yeah.
I feel it. I already know. Is there anything else you'd like to tell the people?
My words of encouragement is to just understand that you're not alone. And when I say that, I mean that you can actually talk to somebody. It doesn't have to be your family member. It doesn't have to be your friend. You can connect to me. I'm always willing to listen. My Instagram is Tia Russell _. If you ever feel like that you can't talk to somebody, you can definitely hit that hotline. That Adora will be telling you the number too. But I definitely just want to let you know that you don't look like what you've been through. And so you can wear so many hats, but just understand, like, you need them self-care days. You need them days that you have to rest, and like always put yourself first, because at the end of the day, who got your back?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We would like to thank you for coming out. Make sure y'all go support her event. If you're unable to support that event, she has events all the time, so make sure you reach out to her. That mental health line number is 1-800-273-8255. Again, that number is 1-800-273-8255. I also want to shout out this hoodie. It says Mental Health Matters. And it also has the number. I'm going to attach where I got this from. I can't think of the name right now.
All right, and you know where to find us. RT Adora, the letter N, Daisy, on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify,
Apple Podcasts.
And until next time.